Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, June 6th, 6 o'clock p.m., and this is a meeting of the Plan Commission of the City of West Bend. More than 24 hours in advance of this meeting, notice of the time, place, date, and subject matter of the meeting was posted in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, and I can confirm that this meeting was properly posted. I invite you to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We recognize a full quorum of our Plan Commission, and I'd like to welcome a new commissioner, Mike Weston. Mike has been a longtime member of our Parks, Rec, and Forestry Commission, and Mike just became the chair of that commission. So by default, the chair of that commission also gets a seat on the Plan Commission. So we thank Mike Starl for his long time of service on the Plan Commission, and welcome another Mike Weston. So thank you very much for agreeing to be here and join us. And we do have a full agenda tonight, and I know we like quick meetings, but we will give all of these items the time and attention they need tonight. Starting with a development proposals that change to the I forgot our Plan Commission minutes. We need to approve our minutes from the regular meeting held on May 2nd of 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Justice and Paul. Any questions, comments on the minutes from May 2nd, 2023? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we will move on. Under development proposals, a change to the 2020 comprehensive plan, and we're also going to talk about the zoning amendment that goes along with that, so I'll turn that over to Jim.
Thank you. Back in April of this year, the Plan Commission reviewed a request for a change in land use for approximately 5.2 acres of land located just north of Wingate Creek and west of Trenton Road. This area, or I should say the Plan Commission set a public hearing for tonight to hear any comments or concerns pertaining to this. As a part of this is a proposal to change to help facilitate the development of the remaining area up in the industrial park that we have there. So the proposed change would be to change the commercial land use there to an industrial land use to incorporate that with the remaining lands to the south. The development pattern has changed over the course of the years, and the commercial area didn't extend as far south as originally anticipated. So now we're reevaluating and looking at the properties for a different land use to incorporate with the industrial area. The property is currently zoned B1, which is community business, and that would be changed over to the M2 heavy industrial, which is consistent with the remaining lands to the south. As a part of this amendment, the next part would be to establish the zoning, and in this case we would ask that zoning be changed from the B1 to the M2 heavy industrial. And again, this would all be to help facilitate the redevelopment of that area and to complete the industrial park build out. The property owners within 200 feet were notified of both the comprehensive plan and the zoning amendment change, and staff received no inquiries or comments pertaining to either one of those items.
Thank you, Jim. We will now conduct a public hearing on the recommended land use change from commercial to industrial in the 2020 comprehensive plan for the City of West Bend for land located north of Wingate Street and west of North Trenton Road by the City of West Bend Department of Development. So I will open up our public hearing on this topic. Anybody from the public wishing to address the Plan Commission, please be heard by coming up to the podium.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you, Justice and Chris. Motion and a second to close public hearing. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We now need to pass a resolution on this change. I will make a motion to change our 2020 comprehensive plan from commercial to industrial for land located north of Wingate Street and west of North Trenton Road, the applicant being the City of West Bend Department of Development. So I will make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Justice. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move to a public hearing on the zoning. Zoning Amendment 23-002. This is a zoning amendment request to rezone approximately 5.2 acres of land located north of Wingate Street along the west side of North Trenton Road from B1 Community Business District to M2 Heavy Industrial District. This applicant is the City of West Bend, so I will now open this public hearing. If anybody wishes to address the Plan Commission on this, please step up to the podium to be heard.
Move to close.
We'll move to close public hearing by Jed, second by Chris. Thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We now need to vote on the item. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Justice and Paul. Any comments, questions, discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to conditional use permits. And this will also be a public hearing. And this is a request for a conditional use permit to allow a microblading business, which is permanent makeup, paramedical tattoos, and areola reconstruction at 115 North 6th Avenue within the B2 Central Business District, the applicant being Brittani Wolf and Rogue Beauty Bar. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you. So Brittani Wolf has submitted a conditional use application to operate a microblading service and permanent makeup and reconstruction establishment at 115 North 6th Avenue for a Rogue Beauty Bar. As a part of this, the state requires and regulates this type of service as a tattoo establishment. So it is regulated under the requirements for tattoos under the state requirements. As a part of that, our conditional use permit regulates tattoo and body piercing establishments also, requiring a conditional use permit for this. So since the state is regulating it under that type of establishment, we do require a conditional use permit for that, since it's the same kind of requirements that we have for the state. The hours of operations would be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. The building is 4,800 square feet and will be subdivided into multiple rooms for conducting the various services that are provided for that business. She will be the only person providing the microblading service at this time, and she will also be employing one additional lash technician and an assistant. Her hopes are to increase her business by another 8 technicians and receptionists in the future. A tattoo license will be required by the state of Wisconsin, and all owners have been notified of the public hearing. Staff has not received any comments or inquiries on this. Staff would recommend approval with the listed conditions.
Thank you, Jim. This item also does have a public hearing that goes along with it. If anybody wishes to address the Plan Commission on this topic, please come to the podium to be heard.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Justice. Motion to close. Is there a second? Second by Mike Weston. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we now need to vote on the item.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Justice. Second by Jed. We'll give that one to Jed. Any comments, questions, discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next conditional use permit is 23-004. This one will also have a public hearing. And this is for the consideration of a conditional use permit to allow 2 mobile food vendors in the B1 Community Business District located at 801 West Washington Street, and the applicant is Jeremy Hahn. Turn it over to you first, Jim.
Thank you. Mr. Hahn has requested a conditional use permit for mobile food truck vendors to be operated at 801 West Washington Street. The property is Zone B1, which under the conditional use section of our zoning code permits food trucks as a conditional use being operated as a non-principal use on the property. An operations letter has been submitted along with a sketch. The sales area for the food trucks are proposed on the west and southwest corners of the parking lot. The hours of operations for them to possibly work on the site would be Sunday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The sales activities would occur from the trucks, and the responsibility of the food trucks it would be the responsibility of the food trucks to dispose and clean up of the area after they're done. After further review of the conditional use, staff had some concerns and recommendations for the conditional use, which would include the location of the food trucks. If they were allowed, we would ask that they be shifted and moved to the south and southeastern edge of the parking lot to reduce the impacts to the neighborhood. We were slightly concerned with the hours of operations being from 10 to 10. Typically, the other food truck areas that we've had approved operate during the normal business hours of the other businesses that are associated on the site. So bathroom facilities and whatnot are open to the food vendors and the guests. We're also concerned again with the traffic impact with the peak times of the businesses that are in the building, along with traffic impacts of the area. Again, we wanted to make sure that the food truck uses were the non-principal use in compliance with the code and not interfere with the normal operations of the other businesses on site. There was some slight concern with the food truck visibility. Typically, the food trucks want to be visible from the streets. With the location of this site, the food trucks themselves are actually behind the building. So they're really seen more from Cedar Street and 8th Avenue and possibly 9th. And then there was also the impact with the food trucks having an impact on the downtown businesses, especially right now with the reconstruction of Main Street. The conditional use does require a public hearing and a public notice. We did publish everything. We've notified people within 200, or property owners within 200 feet. Staff has actually had 2 inquiries pertaining to this. One was just a general inquiry, inquiring about the actual operations of food trucks in general. That person didn't actually express any concerns pertaining to this proposal. I did get another proposal from one of the neighbors in there, and they did express opposition to this due to the time, the trash concerns, the noise that possibly be generated from the food trucks with the generators there, and then also the traffic concerns, especially with 9th Avenue being a one-way street, and they're afraid that their people are going to come in the wrong direction from that roadway. If the Plan Commission would find the conditional use to be acceptable, staff did have some recommendations for the conditions of the approval of that.
And Jim, just to be clear, in our packet, I think number 2 under your conditions lists the location as the northeast corner.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that was a typo. It should have been the southeast.
Should be southeast
Yep,
if you're
south and
looking at
southeast.
the map there.
Correct. And that,
Okay.
my apologies on that.
No problem. Before we open the public hearing, are there any just general questions for Jim on this? If not, we can always discuss after the public hearing as well.
I just have a couple of questions. The documentation refers to only 2 trucks. Is that the maximum occupancy they can have for that?
That's what they were requesting. Just in general, most of or all of our other conditional uses that we've done in other locations have been actually for 1 truck at a time versus the 2.
Okay, and then the southeast location, that would be right by the entrance. Is there an entrance to the parking lot there?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that southwest makes more sense, really, doesn't it?
Well, and on Mr. Hahn's original drawing, it looks like it's the northeast corner right by the entrance into the building that was originally, or that was marked.
Correct. Originally he was looking at it having it in the drive aisle in the northeast corner, but because it was in the drive aisle, it would have blocked traffic, and plus we would have had pedestrians in the drive lane, which you typically want to try to
Do we
push.
know what active business activity happens there during the week now? Because as I know, River Run, I don't even know that they're operating out of there.
Can we have Jeremy come up and?
Yeah, we will have, do you want to have Jeremy?
Jeremy, if you want to come up and explain, I know that there is a church in there. I don't know what other businesses are on what other floors.
That was a big question of mine
Thank
too.
you.
yeah.
So I wanted to put them in that northeast corner because it's furthest from all the houses as a concern about noise. It will be open when the food trucks are there. We'll have restrooms available. There won't be any concerns about trash or restroom usage. Primary usage upstairs will be retail establishment. I can't say anything past that. The basement will be occupied with another retail establishment. I can't say anything about that, but the church will be out by September 1st. They've been notified, they accepted. What other questions do you have specifically? I'd be happy to answer them.
Where is the church patrons parking now? Is that
It's just
issue?
on Sundays, and they kind of occupy the lot.
Okay.
They're not going to
okay.
be there that much longer.
Okay, so you wouldn't be.
No, they're just there on Sundays, and I talked with the Reverend. They said we could, do whatever except on Sundays, and then once they're gone, it won't be an issue.
Okay.
Do you have food truck vendors interested in coming to this location?
Yeah, we have one purchased, and then I didn't even, look yet because I want to make sure we get approved before I go get anyone else involved.
Go ahead, Mike.
Is this going to be year-round, or is it just while downtown is being reconstructed?
Well, I would say I don't know because we don't know the state of it. I would like to try it. My original, play was I own bars and restaurants downtown, and it's a ghost town. We're down like 30%, 40%. So if we have a draw, it seems to bring people in. We brought in bands, so you get a good draw for the night. My goal is to bring in food trucks as a draw and then go from there. If it goes terrible, then of course we won't have it year round, right? But if people come there and love it, then maybe we want a third food truck. But I want to go slow, and that's why I said let's start with 2. I did, get advised. I asked how many. They said start with 2, start small. So that's what I did. I placed them in the corner, furthest away from the residents. As such, I know quiet hours downtown are 10 p.m. That's why I put 10 p.m. and starting time arbitrary, I put 10 a.m. because I thought that's maybe when people wanted to start eating lunch. If they want it later or to end earlier, I'm open to it. I would just like to know if there's a specific reason, because the quiet hours downtown are until after 10 p.m. So that's why I chose that. I didn't want to keep people awake. If there's a different quiet hour we're imposing, I'm happy to stop sooner. Just let me know. I'm not here to cause troubles. I just want to, feed people and then bring people to West Bend.
Is the vision that it would be the same 2 food trucks permanently, or is this 2 stalls that basically rotate through different vendors?
So again, like trial, right? We're trying stuff. I'm trying to do a daily lease option and then a weekly if someone wants to try it. I don't know. They might only want to be there on a Saturday. The more I've looked into it, a lot of these guys are they're already booked for the whole season. So that's why we bought one, so we'd have something there just in case I can't find anybody. I'm trying to find someone that could fill it, and then maybe by next year we would buy a second truck and lease a third spot. I actually don't know. It's a huge parking lot. We can put them out of the way. The drive area aisle's not an issue because no one's gonna be going past it. The food trucks are fine. Everyone can park. People can go from their cars to the food trucks, from the food trucks to the building, and it's very safe. They're not placed in a poor position. I really thought this one through, mainly again to put them furthest away from the houses from a noise standpoint. But I'm open to whatever you guys suggest because I've never operated food trucks in a lot before. So
You own the building, right, Jeremy?
correct.
Yeah.
So it's
And
a private
you're-
lot, but I understand we're in the middle of a city, right? It's not just
Yeah.
what we want to do.
Yeah. But you're in control of where parking and traffic is.
Yeah,
and
we
there's no
could
business
restripe the whole lot
upstairs
if
now.
we want to. I'd prefer not to restripe it. I kind of want to see how it feels out, and then when Main Street's all done, then do my restriping next season, because I just don't, we're kind of tight right now. Downtown's kind of tight. It's just hard. It'll be fine. We're good. People are coming.
Jeremy, conditional use permits can be denied over environmental concerns such as noise and odor.
Yes.
But they can also be denied if there is a negative economic impact. And so you're talking about bringing in food trucks while Main Street's under construction and the brick and mortar businesses are already struggling.
Absolutely.
So it could be said that the food trucks would be a negative economic impact.
And yeah, I would just ask, 'cause I don't know exactly what. Like, I went to Marquette University for economics, so I actually need a little more insight as to what exactly is the negative impact you're looking for. If you give me that indicator, say crime, for example, I can address that with food trucks. I need something specific.
No, it'll
'cause-
take business away from the restaurants.
But it'll do the opposite, because we've already noticed it, 'cause I brought in people for events with bands. If you have an event, people come. Having businesses downtown, we've been tracking this for quite some time. We're 30% slow-ish, maybe 40. If we have an event, it draws people. So if there's nowhere to park downtown, we can draw them to some food trucks. They'll park there, and they'll eat, and they'll walk and shop downtown. Now, may they eat less because they ate there? Perhaps. I don't know, but they'll shop downtown. I mean, I just don't need them to go to my restaurants downtown. I like them to shop across the street.
Okay, so now I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying.
It's a
You're
draw,
saying that
yeah.
the food trucks will draw retail people.
Yes.
At the same time, you're acknowledging that they
Mm-hmm.
won't be eating, it'll be less likely they'll eat at a brick and mortar restaurant downtown.
Yes, and I'll say they're more likely to eat in West Bend, because let's say they leave the farmer's market and they're getting hungry at their car, at least they spend their money here. Like, they'll stay in our community versus going somewhere else. Like, having a draw brings people in. Like, my goal as an economist is to bring people into Washington County first, because that money gets towards the city, and then city of West Bend as well, and just keep funneling towards downtown, because that's where I'm at.
One last question
Yeah.
is, the conditional use permit could be pulled if there are problems. And if you don't mind talking about this in public,
I'm fine.
are you going to have contracts with these food truck people?
Yes. There has to be a lease agreement, because it's going to be $400 a day or $1,000 a week.
So there's a.
Or 200 a day,
You're not
sorry.
able to get out of the leases then?
Well, it'll be a 200 a day or 1,000 a week. If they sign a weekly lease, I'll put some conditions in there, like, you break these, you're out. You just have to let me know what those conditions are, and I will impose said conditions upon them. I just don't know what you're asking me to impose right now.
Well, what I'm getting at is, would you have something in the contract that if the city pulls the conditional use permit, that makes your contract, your lease agreements null and void?
If you'd like that, I would.
I'm sorry?
If you'd like me to, I
Well,
absolutely will.
it's not for me to say what we'd like. I'm
Kind
looking
of
out
is
for
if you're voting on it, isn't it? Like,
And what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that if we approve a conditional use
Yes.
permit, and a month into this, we're getting lots of complaints.
Yes.
And we, at the commission, I assume that we can cancel the conditional use
you
permit.
can make that a condition of this approval, that if that happens, it's void.
You can. If they're in violation of conditions of the approval, you can rescind the
Okay.
approval.
So what I'm saying, Jeremy, is that if we rescind it, it's not, we have nothing to do with your contracts.
I understand
I'm
that.
just looking out for your welfare.
Yes.
That you have taken that into consideration with your leases.
Yes, I do appreciate it. Now that I see what you're asking me from your perspective, I understand. So at most, I might be out like $400, $500 if I cancel him early. But I'm more than welcome to entertain any condition you'd like to put on this conditional use permit with any, like, those contractual things. I'll add whatever legal obligations you want me to. If you don't want me to, then I just won't, and I'll risk losing the money. If you're looking out for me, I don't mind.
Yeah,
I'm looking out for you as well.
We don't have anything to do with that. That's entirely up to you.
Yeah, because I'm just here to address your concerns. I've already addressed mine.
So Jeremy, the property is actively listed for sale now, correct?
No, it was discontinued. We pulled it off the listing. I
Okay.
don't know how that works, but I told Tommy to unlist it. He hasn't
I just saw the
climbed-
banner
yeah,
up
He hasn't
on-
climbed up. It took him a bit to climb up there to
Okay.
get the sign. I felt bad telling him just climb up there, because we're going to be putting LED lights probably on, changing lights. Someone's going to be up there with a lift, and they can take that sign down.
Okay.
I just don't want Tommy to have to rent another scissor lift, because he did it as a favor, and then obviously the building, we wanted to use it instead of sell it, so now Tommy didn't get his commission. So Tommy still likes me, but I don't want to run him up a building. It only goes so far. So.
Okay.
What other concerns do you have for me?
Jed, go ahead.
Alderman Allen's in the audience. Is this your district? Do you have any concerns about your residential constituents around in the area?
I believe that their interests will be served. I believe that there is substantial benefit to having this type of business. I've seen them operated in other areas. I've been to other municipalities, both in this state and out of state, and food trucks operate in strip malls that have restaurants, and the restaurants continue to thrive as do the food trucks. Food trucks offer
He should be up with it.
obviously, they offer an
You need to have him come to the mic.
alternative they may not have elsewhere.
I'm sorry, could you finish up at the mic?
I must have missed that joke in the beginning. Sorry.
Food trucks offer a positive economic advantage. They give people some choice. We have currently a conditional use at the Menards parking lot for food trucks. And there's at least 3 restaurants I can think of that are spitting distance from where the food truck parks. Was the same logic applied to that permit, to that conditional use?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Those areas that we've approved it historically in West Bend are commercial areas, not adjacent to residential. They are also intermittent uses. And I will point out that these uses in B1 district can only be issued as a conditional use if it's a non-principal use on that site. It cannot be the sole use of that site. So if that building is vacant, we cannot issue a conditional use to it for food trucks. That's in our code.
Okay. But I think there is benefit to have the food trucks. I think they'll bring people in. People track down food trucks. There are Facebook groups, and Twitter feeds, and other social media things that people follow, and they say, "Oh, there's a new food truck in this area. I'm going to go find it." And would you make a steady diet of eating at a food truck? Probably not. Most people wouldn't, but it's a nice alternative.
Thank you.
Any questions?
If
Thank
not, are there more questions, discussion for Jeremy? We can certainly bring Jeremy
I
back up
did hear one
here.
more possible concern with the secondary use. It'll always be secondary use. There's another thing, and the church is in it right now. The building will be absolutely occupied with something bigger than food trucks before the church leaves. But you could put something in there if the church were to vacate, because I do not have control over it. If they left right now, it would be empty, and you could then, I have control over that. But is there full? And to give you a scope, I'm saying the food trucks are going to be about 5 to 10% of the business, which is quite secondary. I'm not even saying it's close to 50-50 primary. It truly will be ancillary. It's the draw to the parking lot. Either they come inside after that or they walk downtown, because I have businesses downtown. This is going to be a draw to bring people downtown to benefit not only my other businesses, but everyone downtown. And then I guess I'll close with this. I think I have an okay track record with what I've done downtown. Many of you have been in my businesses. They look real nice. And I plan to do the same thing with this. Like, I want to keep investing in West Bend, but I just want to do it your way. So just tell me what you want me to do, and I'm here to help. That's it.
Jim, you spoke to the residents, but Holy Angels also you spoke to, and they didn't have a problem?
No one from Holy Angels contacted us. I just had contact from actual residents that were adjacent to the property.
Jim, I had a quick question regarding you said the food vendor operations should not occur during peak times of the building tenants. How would that be written up, or what were your thoughts there?
Right. Well, the concern was that where you have a high demand for, say, the food trucks do take off, and it's a very high demand for what for that seller, but you also have the businesses that are in the building that are the brick and mortar portion that are the principal uses. What I'm concerned about is that we're going to have a fight for parking, because you have to your principal uses have the need for the parking and require the parking.
May I real quick, we're going to occupy the whole building ourselves, so you have to worry about any other tenants not liking the trucks there. We can kind of take that argument off the table.
Yeah, no, it wasn't about the tenants liking or not liking the trucks. It's about the actual need for your parking demand.
Yeah, I understand that.
Making sure that all of your users that are there,
Correct.
that there is enough parking for the
Yep.
for the people coming there.
Correct. There's
along
a
with
sh-
spaces for the trucks.
Yes.
That's the concern about it. It has nothing to do with.
If you wish, there's all that grass to the side. I'll put ropes out and run people through lines in the grass so they can't go in the parking lot to wait in lines for the trucks. I just need to know what we need to fix, and I will absolutely do that.
We have to be a little bit careful too, Jeremy, with establishing poor precedent. You know, in
Okay.
case there's another situation where
Gotcha.
it's a parking lot that you don't own, that the
Oh, I
person doesn't
agree.
own
Yep.
everything that's in the building.
In which
you know,
case,
so-
I would yield to all those concerns because they're quite valid. I'm agreeing with that. I'm just letting you know expressly for this, it's going to just be us so we don't rock any boats because it's a very valid concern. It's probably one of the most valid concerns, right? Because then you got guys calling you, hey, these food trucks are blocking people. That'd be the biggest worry. So we got that one off the plate. We got public safety, which is a worry. So if they start getting lines too big and traffic's driving through too fast, we can rope it off and run it through the grass. That's over to the east. That'd be easy to rope. They have the Holy Angels Fest across the road, so I'm not sure those residents are too concerned about noise. It's gonna be loud this weekend. They're having fun. I guess my question is, and the end goal is we can bring more than just these food trucks. Like we can bring carnival rides. I can put a Ferris wheel in there. I don't own any Ferris wheels, but I'm sure we can find people that want to. I just need to know what West Bend wants to do, and I'm willing to do it. And thank you for hearing me out. I know we have more on the meeting. I've taken up more than enough time. I'm sorry I talk a lot. I'll sit down, and thank you for the consideration.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep, we do. We need to open up a public hearing on this topic. So this is 23-004. It's a public hearing for the consideration of a conditional use permit to allow 2 mobile food vendors in the B1 Community Business District located at 801 West Washington Street, and the applicant is Jeremy Hahn. So I will open up the podium for this public hearing. Anybody wishing to address the commission on this, please come up to be heard. And as you come up, please just state your name for the minutes.
Hello, my name is CJ Dan. I live at 833 Cedar Street, right on the corner there, the blue house. My concerns really come from a place of living there on a year-round basis. There's, for the school year, you have hundreds of people coming every morning and afternoon, as well as events, obviously, coming around there. That obviously makes sense. It's a school. There's a lot of traffic, and we're used to that. And then the summer is a nice reprieve. The festival is also, obviously, surrounding 2 sides of our house, and then we're pretty much locked in there and can't get out during that time. But that's fine because, yet again, that was there before we had even moved in. It was something that has been around for a long time. Fine with that, except for the fact that with food trucks there, I appreciate the idea of moving them further away from our houses. I really do. I'm still obviously a little bit concerned about the fact that it'll then be kind of another, for the entirety of the summer where we usually have that slight reprieve, we will then be just shifting where the busy focus of our neighborhood becomes. And that does not sit particularly well with me, especially up to 10 p.m. because we have an almost 2-year-old son, and we have a lot of things going on that usually involves a lot of need for at least a little bit of quiet and a little bit of calm. But that's something that we tend to be able to work around rather well. But it's another thing that it's a little bit concerning because it feels like it's, from my point of view, not particularly necessary, and that's why I am a little bit concerned about that happening. So that's really what I have. So thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the Planning Commission? Again, as you come up, please just state your name for the minutes.
Rob Sanborn, 316 North 9th, right across 9th Avenue from the old bank lot. You covered a lot of these. Noise is a big concern for us. CJ mentioned it with the various things that go on. I'm wondering how are these food trucks powered? Do they use generators? Are those generators running 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, week after week after week? Or are they drawing power from the building itself? I don't know. That wasn't presented in anything. So that's an issue for us. Trash is an issue. In the packet, it said something about trash was going to be taken care of by the food truck operator. Okay. What about the stuff that's blowing off the lot? What about the stuff that's being dropped on the ground? That is a significant concern. Who is going to pick that up? Right now, since the bank sold that lot, it used to be immaculately kept. There was beautiful landscaping, well kept, and now it's pretty much all the landscaping is weedy and it's poorly maintained. Will there be someone to pick up that trash that's blowing around? That's a concern. moving where the food trucks are. I'm still not sure where the city wants them, whether they're on the southeast or northeast. Right? I mean, southeast or northeast. If you put them on the southeast, you're blocking that entrance. That means you're going to funnel all the traffic out onto 9th. 9th is a one-way road. It's narrow. People already go the wrong way on it. I mean, it's pretty much a daily occurrence where someone's driving, maybe just to Cedar, sometimes all the way up the hill to Walnut. But that is an ongoing issue. And that, we always have, me and one of the neighbors that commented, have talked about, you could probably park a police car in their driveway and they could make a ton of money, handing out tickets. That'll make it that much worse. With only getting in and out of that lot on 9th, you're going to cause a hell of a lot of problems with traffic. That is a significant issue. So, and also the hours of operation are just ridiculous. This is primarily a residential area. Yes, the property is zone B1. I understand that, but there's homes all the way around it. You want to run something from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's just pretty much a non-starter for us. So we're opposed to it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the public?
I just wanted to say I'll make sure the trash is picked up. I apologize, the yard is bad, no one's occupied it, but it'll be constantly maintained. Like if you better the garden lawn and border, it's a very clean place, it's a very clean salad. So it'll be taken care of. We're not gonna landscape it ourselves, we have a landscaping company doing that. It's just, we're not, it's just the economy, not plus the down.
So is it vacant now?
If you guys don't mind taking the conversation maybe outside, this sounds like it is kind of between, unless somebody wants to address the plan commission.
I apologize, that was my error. So if there's a specific question, I'd be happy to answer. What's the question?
This is your time to address the plan commission.
So I'll make sure the trash is picked up as per your concerns. It'll be picked up. I live downtown. Does it get noisy? Yeah, I mean, like, it's a business district. You're right across from a business district. It will be loud. Like, if you're not near a business district, you will not hear that noise. That's just is what it is. I think if we move it to the Farno lot, it will accommodate him as best as possible. If you'd like me to put him in the grass, I don't know. I mean, there's a fire department there. We're close to that. So I think we can address it. I know we can address the trash. I don't know how noisy it's going to be. I don't know how noisy generators are. We can stop music at any time you tell me. If there's a quiet hour, we'll stop it then. Just tell me the conditions and I'll respect that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, please state your name for the minutes and then podium is
Lisa
yours.
Sanborn, 316 North 9th Avenue. I just thought of a few other things after Rob sat down. The music was never mentioned in any proposal. That again we're a quiet neighborhood. We're near downtown. We get traffic when the farmers market is downtown. We have cars that park there. Obviously, Holy Angels Festival, one weekend of the year. We know that's going to be a big one, and we know there's going to be cars all over the place. But nobody in our neighborhood that I know of wants to have generators. I've been next to the generators down at the farmers market. I've walked next to them. They are quite loud. To have those two of them running every day of the week right across the street from our house, that would be significant. Along with music playing that has to be louder than the generators, significant. So then you have these two trucks. The concern is over the parking area. So you get your food. Do you walk and eat your food? Do you want picnic tables to sit at to eat your food? Is that going to be there? The other concern is the bathrooms. There was some mention that it should be during operations when the businesses are open so that the restrooms inside the building could be used. I know if River Run is gone, I don't know. There's still cars there, so I think they still might be there. I don't know. But I tried to drop a computer off at River Run once. They are locked down. So there is no way, if River Run is there, that there is anybody going into that facility to use a bathroom. And I don't know, on Sunday, the parking lot is full with the church, so I don't know how anybody would be able to use the food trucks and use the bathrooms. So then the bathrooms become a concern. So then are we gonna have porta potties sitting on our corner for all year long? I don't know what the plan would be for that. I guess those are the things that I wanted to add. But this whole thing is very concerning because we are a quiet neighborhood 2 blocks from downtown. that has always in that building. It has been offices. It has been businesses that aren't open till 10 o'clock at night. The bank closed at a reasonable time. River Run closed, reasonable time. The church closed, reasonable time. And it has never been a concern. But to go and have something that's running until 10 o'clock at night with music playing and generators running, I don't know. I think you guys don't have air conditioning, right? You do? We don't have air conditioning. So when it's warm in the summer, we have our windows open. So that is going to be a serious problem, living right across the street from that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, excuse me, you're on 9th?
Yes, we're on 9th. We face, our front door looks out at the sidewalk that goes to the front door of the building.
Got it, thank you.
Yep.
You've got that really cool yard, right? There's a hill that's right facing Chase, the old Chase Bank, that's got a really well manicured yard. Is that you guys? Oh, that's your neighbor. Okay.
Flowers, we get to look at that.
Oh, cool. Okay. Gotcha. I grew up a block from there, so.
Yes.
Chris.
I had a question for Jeremy.
Three concerns super fast. Like, I'm willing to stop at a reasonable time if it's 9 or 8. We don't have music on this. I was just saying, because I know we would like to. That's a whole other planning thing, I'm sure. And we can make restrooms available, as I said in the beginning, open as long as the food trucks are there. So we can open. That's our building, even if no one's there yet. Paul did leave with River Run. He's not there. But we can open the door and let people in, and I can have someone there, like an employee paid to stand there just to watch the bathrooms. I'm not trying to do anything no one wants to do. If you tell me a reasonable time to stop food trucks is 8 p.m.
I just don't. We're opposed. We're opposed to the generators. And
Okay, we need to make sure the conversation comes
my
this
apologies.
direction.
All right,
Okay.
sorry, I've never done this before. So
Chris,
now-
you have a question. Why don't you take your question?
So my thought is, listening to you, Jeremy, I'm wondering, is the intent for the food trucks to complement whatever businesses are going to be coming into the building?
Yes, that and all of downtown West Bend jointly.
And I know it seems like you're not ready to share what the ultimate plan is.
I
for
wish
the
I
property.
could. I'm held to some non-disclosures. I can tell you retail upstairs, retail downstairs, shuttle from there to downtown, shuttle from there to your farmer's market, and shuttle from there to Barton, and maybe down to Kingpin. But I need to make a hub to bring everyone downtown so they can shop.
What's your timeline for?
For opening everything, I think I could tell the city what's going on in September, open in October. And in stages, right? Like, one could go open upstairs first and downstairs not open for 2 months after that. I don't know. It's all tentative.
Is it? One more question for Jeremy. Is there a possibility of including in whatever lease agreement or whatever you did with the food trucks, power from the building? So you don't have to have...
I don't know how it works. I've never ran a food truck. I'm not an engineer. But if there is the ability to run a cord out and plug in instead, I don't mind if they sap my electric. I would just have to somehow counter that off their fees, like into the lease. But yes, like if you... Maybe they have to, but I don't know if that's even going to be an issue. Normally, the way I look at things is things are not a problem until they become a problem. Because I can say we might have 12 problems. I can also say we might not have 12 problems. But I'm willing to say is even if this condition's approved and a new problem arises that none of us thought about, I do want to address it. I don't want a problem just sitting out there. Like, I'm a problem solver. I'm not a problem creator. I just want to get people downtown to do that. We need food trucks because it's going to draw people.
You could potentially put that into a lease agreement, though.
Yes, absolutely.
They could plug into your building.
I'm assuming so, yes. I don't know how these food trucks work, but I'm assuming so, yes. But I can't say for certain.
This is a commercial property. I will point out that there are commercial electrical codes.
So,
you
I don't
cannot just lay...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was hoping we could just bring a food truck like
ours.
Okay.
And that sort of thing. So that's not germane to our part. It is germane relative to generators, though.
Yeah, it's my preference to have them isolated, so I just have them sign a lease, they park their trucks, people come downtown, people spend money. I literally went to school for economics. People spending money here is what gives us the ability to pay people to pick up the trash. Like, I'm trying to do a good thing. I don't want to run afoul, but I do understand all their concerns and extra ones that no one even brought up. I'm just ahead of them, so I'd like to be. But if a new one comes up, I absolutely will address it. So I'm not here to fight with anyone.
What is the normal hours for food trucks? Like the one at Menards, that's always gone by 8 o'clock, isn't it?
They're always typically, usually by the time they close. Whether it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. That's typically what they've set up for.
And that's without a downtown scene prime to get business after 9. Like, we get people in there and they eat at the food truck because most restaurants close early. So if you want to come downtown at 9:15, there's nothing to eat. My food trucks are till 10. You can grab a snack and still enjoy downtown, grab a couple drinks, and now you got food in your belly. I'm saying from a public safety standpoint, it's good to feed people. From an economic standpoint, it's good to make money. And every concern is quite valid. Not one of them was not valid. I just don't know if it's going to be a problem until we plug the trucks in and hear the noise. If it is, I'm willing to put up a hedge to block the noise between the trucks and her house. I'll pay for the hedge. I just don't know what the problems are going to be.
But Jeremy, if you're talking clientele coming down at 9:15,
yeah. We don't anticipate, me personally, I'm just trying to get the most hours, right? Because it's a
Sure,
meeting. I want the option to. I don't know.
They're not going to be doing
food truck after
retail
7.
purchases downtown at that point. That's the bar crowd. If they're coming to Garden Lounge, you've got food for them.
No, not at that time necessarily, and our food's not that great. I hate to say it that way. No, we have a turbo chef with frozen pizza. The barbecue pit's amazing, right? But they close at 9. Now, do we want to go late night when Main Street's open? Yeah. I can't staff the labor for it because no one's coming yet. The more people I have, the more money I make, the more labor I staff, the later I can go. I want to start breakfast in the morning too. There's a lot I want to do, but I need people and the whole economics of it.
I guess the challenge I have with this, and I appreciate Alderman Allen's comments about what we've done at Menards and Fleet, very different community geography. You are in a commercial district. You don't have residences fronting those lots. Yes. You have open buildings with public restrooms. The nature of this request would be for, as it's written right now, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I can't get behind that in a community, in a residential neighborhood like this.
What hours are acceptable to you then?
I think you need to come back as the business person with the recommendation. If it was me, I would say I would probably limit it to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but that doesn't fit the need of what you're looking for downtown.
No.
I think this is a good idea. I wonder if it's the wrong place.
No, because I've really thought this through with about 7 different business plans, and this is the key that brings people here. This is the advertising tool. This is just step 1. This gets people downtown. It advertises. People know it's here. I can put it online. It's different. It's going to probably add 20% to all of downtown if I can do the Chase Bank the way I want to. But you are right. If we can't advertise this the way I want, I may have to pick a different building and put everything in there. You are absolutely right. But I'm willing to do whatever you ask me to. So please let me know.
Since it seems like we're just kind of free-flowing our speech here, to me it seems like we're getting the cart before the horse. If the goal is to have the food trucks complement the businesses in the building, and we're not sure what the businesses in the building are, what the use is going to be, my thought, I'm not against food trucks. I think they're great. I think the location may be a good fit for it, but I think if it's me, I could get behind it more if I knew what the ultimate main business is, and maybe the play on your part, Jeremy, is to get that up and running and come back in front of us and then request the
church is having a flea market. They're going to want to eat at the food trucks. But I'll put something else upstairs. What would you like me to do? I could put Nerf dart shooting and charge $5 an hour. I have kids there, open a lot, and have food trucks. I know what I want to do.
Sure.
And the whole secondary, I get that. But I'm saying from a functional standpoint, it won't be secondary. And from an actual standpoint, in this moment, it's also not secondary because the building is occupied. I'm happy to rent out offices to people. If we have to if there's a condition where I have to primarily occupy it to get these trucks, I will get those rooms filled tomorrow, and they'll be full, and then we can have the trucks. My issue is, it's not an issue. The truck's on order. We ordered a new one. It's showing up on the 15th, and I want to put in a lot, and I want to hype it up. All my ads are set. I want to bring people to West Bend. I want to help out downtown because it really sucks down there. I want to bring money downtown, and I thought of a great way to do it. And that's all I'm asking for. And I think there are concerns. I believe they're addressed. The meeting's long, and I'll sit down and let you guys do whatever.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the Plan Commission during this public hearing? Please state your name when you come up to the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Allison Guzan. I apologize for my voice. I'm a kindergarten teacher in the last week of school.
Enough said.
I live at 833 Cedar Street, which is also on the corner there of that lot. I do have concerns as well and am opposed to this plan. I have concerns due to the amount of people that will be there. The streets are very busy as they are, with cars going extremely fast. I'm concerned about seating area for a restaurant type. It seems like there is kind of a plan, but not quite of a plan. And from what I'm seeing right now, I'd be very concerned with what could be in place in the future. I'm unsure if you're able to tell me how we're zoned right there. Are we zoned for that amount of business to be in that Chase Bank or former Chase Bank?
Yeah, the bank itself is zone B1, which is community business.
Okay, and then I'm like on our corner, I believe that ours is actually commercial.
I would have to actually look it up. I don't know I believe it's institutional to the south for the church.
The only reason I asked her, and I'm wondering like that, is because when we moved in there, we knew it was residential, and we moved in there knowing that it was going to be a quiet residential, and therefore to raise a family there, I want it to continue to be that quiet area that we want in West Bend, close enough to downtown, but not having to have the amount of people that downtown has. So, thank you.
Anybody else wishing to address the Plan Commission? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close our public hearing.
Second.
Jed, thank you, and Paul. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We now need to take action on this item. Again, this is consideration of a conditional use permit to allow 2 mobile food vendors in the B1 Community Business District located at 801 West Washington Street by Jeremy Hahn. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve to get it on the floor.
Motion
Second.
to approve by Jed, second by Justice. Any comments, questions, discussions?
All
Chris,
right.
we'll start with you.
So my thought is, it goes back to the secondary, supporting the main event or main business that's in the building. I think listening to the neighbors, going for 2 food trucks right out of the gate with extended hours of operation may be a bit much without knowing the whole picture. But I think being pro-business and understanding this may not be an issue once it's there, my thought is do something like we've done in the past, limit the hours to more in line with other food truck operations. Start with 1 food truck, let Mr. Hahn kind of figure that out, but then also limit the use of generators to buildings there. Mr. Hahn owns it. They can run temporary or set up power from the property without the use of generators to try to make it as neighbor-friendly as possible, as more of an experiment, and then let the main business drive whether it makes sense to expand. That's my thought.
Justice.
I completely agree with you, Chris. You grabbed a couple of my ideas, but yeah, I think going down to 1 food truck makes a lot of sense. You've already purchased it for one thing, but just kind of, I totally hear the concerns from the community, and I agree that there is potential there for this to be a real problem. So doing it more on a temporary, can we put like a 6-month trial or something like that on this, or is there a way to make it more of an experiment than a permanent approval?
We have put both annual and term specific,
Okay.
where they have to come back for, a report on compliance and the rest.
Okay. I just think that, it's kind of it's an unused, high traffic kind of area that does, if I was you too, Jeremy, I'd be going, Jesus, there's got to be something we can do with this. And that this is huge parking lot. And in some regards, a food truck does make sense. But again, we've got a community, a very nice community. I grew up 1 block from the space we're talking about on the other side of 33 up in the top of 9th Avenue there. And I love that area. My mom still lives there, and I don't want a bunch of crazy traffic going around or people getting drunk and going to find the food truck and passing out in my mom's yard or something like that. But I don't mind the idea, like you said, let the market decide. We do live in a free market society, so just see how that works.
Jed.
So I'm not troubled by the traffic because I remember how that bank used to get on Friday nights, on Friday afternoons and evenings on payday, and there was a lot of traffic there, so that doesn't concern me, but I am concerned about the noise. And it's good to say a 6-month trial, but that could be 6 months of hell for the residents around the place. I think the generators are going to be an issue. I am, on the other hand, not concerned about drunks staggering around. It's not an easy decision. And I'll say in public, Jeremy, I'm one of your biggest fans. I see the stuff, the comments that you post on social media is so supportive of what the city tries to do and of downtown. And but in this situation, I disagree that this is a market issue. Sometimes there's not a market issue. I have tended to err on the side of caution when there's residential interests involved. I was glad to see nobody said the old standby, the traffic is going to be a hazard to my kids, because then, of course, the question is, well, kids are playing in the street. Nobody said that, at least, but I think the noise is going to be an issue for the residents, and I err on that side, so I won't be voting for it.
Any other comments? Mike?
I feel for Jeremy, I feel for all of the downtown people, but I also feel for the neighbors, and I kind of look at it, if it was my neighborhood, I wouldn't want it across the street either, so I'm not going to be voting for it.
Any other comments, questions?
Even if say there's a 6-month period on it, we have the list of, we're probably up to about 8 now, comments, the 6 from staff. If we add a couple others, at any point, if they violate any of those, it's not, we got to ride this 6-month period out, right? So if noise is an issue, how quick does the city respond?
It comes back to you for action in order to rescind the conditional use. So it would require, even if they're in violation, all we can, as staff, can do is document it and ask for compliance. But that doesn't necessarily mean we get compliance, or that doesn't necessarily mean it cures the problem. The ultimate decision means coming back to the Plan Commission for the review or for rescinding it.
So we can make a 6-month condition, a single food truck condition, a closed by 8 p.m. condition, and vote on something like that? Or do we want to rewrite this and come back?
That's completely the venue or the purview of
it's
this.
It's up to us. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can give you a couple of options here. We obviously have a motion to approve as presented. We could certainly kick this back to staff and talk about conditions, bring this back a month from now at our next meeting with conditions like you've been talking about, Chris. We can certainly have input to our staff on what those conditions are over the next month. You could obviously vote no on this now or yes. So correct me if I'm wrong, if there are other options I'm not thinking of. If you want to throw tighter conditions on it now, you could certainly make another motion with those tighter conditions. I think I've probably covered it all.
I think you've covered the spectrum. It's either approval as requested, it's approval with conditions, however conditions you want to write that, or it's a deferral of action with directions for Mr. Hahn and the staff to get together and to see if they can come up with something that might be more acceptable.
So can we add conditions to the current approval, or do we have to vote and then make another?
You simply had a motion to approve, but I'm assuming that was with the conditions that were listed. But I would ask that you do actually amend your motion to include whatever conditions you want to put in.
Okay.
Jed.
I had a question for Jim or Mark. I understand that with the conditional use permit, this is not supposed to be the principal use of the parcel. Okay, this is an adjunct to the principal use, which is the building. I understand that. But I don't get the part about requiring restroom facilities, because that isn't something traditionally that you worry about with a food truck. So should that be an issue for this? if this does come back? Or, you know?
Depends on the nature of what you're creating. If you're talking about the single truck out in front of Menards, it's probably less, or at a gas station, like we had on Paradise Drive. If you're creating a situation where this is an alternative to brick and mortar, where you've got multiples out there, not as intermittent, but as on a regular basis every day, then you're creating what's more equivalent to a food court. And then it is a concern for both the employees of the trucks and the people that are being served.
Yeah, true.
I will also point out that way our code defines mobile food vendors, the trucks cannot stay overnight. They have to depart from the site every day. So you will at least have the traffic leaving as well.
I'll give my quick comments on this because I haven't yet. I heard Jeremy say several times, I'll do what you want me to do. You just got to let me know what my parameters are and I'll take care of it. We also heard several concerns from residents who live right around there. I'd like to give Jeremy some time to tighten this up a little bit. And so I also appreciate Jeremy's love for West Bend and downtown and do think that this is a great idea. Certainly have concerns over the location and how it's going to operate. So although I'm not saying never say never on that site, maybe we could find some conditions to make it work, but for right now, I'm just not there yet. I'm also not to the point of voting it completely down and closing the book on it. So.
Should I withdraw my motion?
No, I will make a motion to.
Actually, you have a motion.
We have a motion on the floor, yeah, we have to.
If he withdraws his motion, then you can entertain a new motion.
Okay, then
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay, motion has been withdrawn. I will make a motion to suspend action on this until our meeting on July 5th. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Paul. We have a new motion on the floor to suspend action on this until our next Plan Commission meeting on July 5th. Comments, questions, discussion?
What will happen between now and then? We need a different plan from Jeremy.
I can tell you what I'd like to see happen,
Yeah.
and that'd be tighter conditions put on this site. And so I'm hoping that there is collaboration done between Jeremy and city staff. If our city staff is going to put out notice again, I don't know how you would do that to residents, but you certainly have sought input in the past on this topic by sending letters out to residents within 200 feet. I'm not telling you how to do your job, but I would love it if you sought out comments and concerns from residents. That's what I'd like to see done.
Technically, it wouldn't, since this didn't take action on the item and you're reconsidering it, we would not have to send out and publish the public notice again.
Okay.
But I'll be more than happy to make sure that we send out a letter to the same list that we sent out this time so that the neighbors are notified.
Okay.
I think that'd be great. Any other comments, questions, discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We'll now move on to our site plans tonight, and the first one is a site plan 23-008, a site plan for a new multi-tenant industrial building located on the south side of Enterprise Street. The applicant is Jansen Ventures, and the agent is Parish Survey and Engineering. Go ahead.
Thank you. So the site plan presented tonight is for an 8,400 square foot multi-tenant industrial building located on the south side of Enterprise Street. The site plan did identify a second building as a future expansion. That would need separate site plan approval once the developer decides to construct that building. So the approval for tonight is actually for the first building on the far, it would be the east side of the site. The 2.87 acre site is zoned heavy industrial. The proposed use does conform with the requirements for the zoning restriction. The screened refuse area isn't identified on the plans, so all refuse would need to be contained within the building. If they would desire to have refuse outside of the building, a refuse container or refuse areas would need to be provided. Access to this site would be from Enterprise Street. The initial proposal has 18 parking stalls provided for the building. The site plan does identify an additional 14 stalls that could be constructed at a later date if additional parking is needed. Sanitary sewer and water laterals will be extended from the Enterprise Street where they exist today. Stormwater management plan was originally approved for the entire subdivision, and an amendment is needed for this development, indicating the proposed requirements for the use in the stormwater management facilities. The site has been designed to drain generally to the south, where the existing stormwater facilities are. Site lighting for this development will consist of LED-mounted lights on the building and also some pole-mounted lighting in the parking lots. Landscaping is also being provided throughout the site on the north side of the building and also around the corners on the building. And also 2 landscape pods have been identified in the driveway area on either side. The architectural building elevations identify an ash gray colored metal panel siding along with a charcoal colored vertical panel for accenting. An anchor gray brick velour colored brick veneer will be used on the north side of the building and also wraps around the east and west sides of the building, meeting the requirements of the urban design requirements for that. The roof material itself would also be a Roman blue colored metal roof. Staff finds the architectural elevations to actually be satisfying the requirements of the urban design requirements. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the listed conditions.
Thank you, Jim. Is anybody from the applicant or the agent here on this tonight? Wishes to speak with the Plan Commission? Have it.
Certainly. My name is David Baum. I'm with Schrader and Holt Architects, the architect for the project.
Great. Thanks for being here. It looks like a nice building.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Justice.
Second.
Second, we'll give it to Jeff. So motion to approve the site plan for a new multi-tenant industrial building located on the south side of Enterprise Street by Jansen Ventures. We've got a motion and a second to approve. Any comments, questions, discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations. The next one is a site plan 23-009 for interior and exterior renovations at 705 Schoenhaar Drive by Scho Investments, and the agent is Fisher Consult. Jim.
Thank you. This site plan approval or request is for building renovations to an existing building on the corner of Lang Street and Schoenhaar Drive. The property is zoned M2 heavy industrial. The site itself has 2 existing driveways onto Lang Street, which would remain. 24 parking stalls are being provided as part of the development. The existing parking lot itself would be replaced and restriped. The southern edge of the building will actually have some landscaping included on that edge as part of the renovations of that parking lot. Stormwater management plan does exist for the property, but due to the changes in the parking lot pavement, an amendment to the stormwater plan is needed prior to the start of the improvements. The architectural building elevations that have been provided identify some changes on that south wall. The 5 windows that existed out there will be replaced with 2 overhead doors, and then 2 additional overhead doors will be installed on the far east side of that building also. The building on the north and east sides will remain unchanged. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the listed conditions.
Thank you. Is the applicant or agent here on this one?
Yes, my name is Brian Fisher with Fisher Consult, and I'm here to answer any questions if you have them. But we're fine with the conditions. We do want to talk to engineering because we are really not changing the site plan or the site surface. There was just an area that dipped over time. It's an older building. We had some concrete walks that started to kind of tip towards the building, so we're correcting that. And And we did just recently submit a grading plan that shows that we're essentially restoring it back to where it was. But if an amendment is required, we'll certainly, comply with that. But other than that, we have no concerns.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here. Also a very nice property. Max.
Thank you. So we're in the middle of the review with the stormwater management permit. So we sent out review comments. We're waiting back for the revisions. But the question I wanted to ask was about the truck turning movement. We had asked to show that the truck turning movements would be fully on site and would not, use the street to complete the movements. Mm-hmm. You said you just submitted a plan revision today.
Yeah, we got that out today and we show the movements for the two new doors.
So those exhibits would be in the plans you submitted today?
Correct.
Okay, so I guess
Yes, and those doors we're putting in are 10 feet high. So, it's vans would be we still accommodated a 25-foot box truck, even though vans, if they're going to go into the building, that's all would fit inside.
Okay. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Justice. Motion to approve. Is there a second? Chris, second. Thank you. Any comments, questions, discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next site plan is Site Plan 23-011. It's a site plan for a new commercial dental building located on the northeast corner of South 18th Avenue and Corporate Center Drive by Merry Family Dentistry. And the agent is designed to construct.
Thank you. So this site plan is for a 4,962 square foot dental clinic located in our corporate center. The property is zoned M3, which is for professional offices and is permitted under this zoning district. Screened refuse has been provided at the northwest corner of the site. Access to this development will be from Corporate Center Drive. They propose the driveway as far east as possible to eliminate any conflicts with the intersection at 18th Avenue and Corporate Center Drive. 35 parking stalls are being provided for this development and fall in line with the requirements for a dental clinic for this size. Sanitary sewer and water laterals will be obtained from 18th Avenue. Stormwater management plan has been submitted and is being reviewed by the engineering department. The site grades have been generally designed to drain the site north and east, where it's then collected by storm sewer and then connects into the city storm sewer collection system in Corporate Center Drive. LED lighting is being proposed and will consist of bollard lighting and also 20-foot light poles throughout the site. Landscaping has been provided around the site and in the parking lot. And the existing berm that is along the west and north side of the building will be preserved along with the landscaping that already exists on there. Monument sign is being proposed just west of the main driveway entrance, and the wall signs are proposed on the west and south sides of the building, and staff has no concerns with the locations of any of those. The building materials will consist of earth tone brick veneer, beige colored composite lap siding, and the roof will be an asphalt shingle roof with accenting of metal pre-finished standing seam roofs over the gable ends. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the listed conditions.
Thank you, Jim. Is
Motion to
anybody
approve.
from the Merry family or Design to Construct here? Sorry, Justice.
That's okay.
Another nice building.
Thank you very much. Mark Herzl from Design and Construct, and Dr. Merry from Merry Family is here as well. So you have any questions for us? We think it's a great project. It fits into that tiny little site on that corner about as good as you could get. I know I'm a little biased. Sorry, Mark. I think that we're excited. We really think it's going to do well. Stormwater management, I just mentioned, is also, this was part of the main development. We are working with staff to just get that flowing the right way, but obviously the site's relatively small, so there's no stormwater management on site, but it'll be part of the main development. So,
Great. Thanks for investing in West Bend. Justice.
It looks like there's plenty of parking, but is it just the one exit entrance into that parking lot there?
yes, there's just the
Correct.
one entrance off of them.
Okay, and that's off of Okay, got it, sorry. Good. Motion approved.
I was just curious, is it going to be Merry Family Dentistry?
Yes.
Okay. It's just because I saw the sign said something else, and you're not going to be downtown.
We're moving out of downtown, so
Justice, did you want to make a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion approved, thank you. Is there a second? Second, Mike Weston. Any comments, questions, discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to save you guys a little bit of time tonight because Taco Bell has decided to withdraw their application on their lighting. And so we do not need to act on that final site plan item at the bottom of our packet tonight.
I wanted to argue about a Taco Bell sign.
Yeah. And I don't know, Mark, do you know if they're going to possibly come back with something in the future?
they've given no indication.
No indication
either way.
of that. Okay. Our next meeting, as I said, is on July 5th at 6 o'clock. I hope you all have a great month of June and a great 4th of July, and we are adjourned.